It's fun to take a sports car along a twisty road, but the reality is that many car shoppers, if not most, primarily want an everyday vehicle that's comfortable, well-priced, and gets them where they want to go. There aren't as many compact car choices as there used to be, but they're still around. And now Kia has an all-new one, the 2025 Kia K4. For those everyday vehicle shoppers I mentioned, this is definitely a contender. The K4 replaces the departed Kia Forte sedan. That also came as a hatchback called the Forte 5. In some global markets, this new K4 is also available as a hatchback, and it's drop-dead gorgeous. It looks like we might eventually get it, and I hope we do. But for now, we don't yet have a when or even a solid if, and so I'm looking strictly at the sedan here. The K4 starts out in LX trim at $23,995. I'm in the next step up EX at $26,495, while the EX Plus is $27,995. There are also two turbocharged models above that, and they top out at $34,495. With LX and EX trims, the K4 uses a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 147 horsepower and 132 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to an automatic continuously variable transmission, or CVT. Kia calls it an IVT, with the I standing for intelligent, but yes, it's a CVT. All models are front-wheel drive, with no all-wheel drive available. While some of its compact sedan rivals offer hybrid powertrains, this Kia does not. Those power numbers aren't huge, but that really isn't the point here. They're about mid-range among the K4's rivals, which include the Honda Civic, Mazda 3, Toyota Corolla, Volkswagen Jetta, and the Hyundai Elantra, and that one shares the K4's engines, but which also comes as a hybrid. But beyond that, this isn't meant to be a performance sedan. It accelerates smoothly when you're driving moderately, and while it does get noisy under hard throttle, it'll still get you past slower traffic on the highway. The steering is light but not overly so, and it's responsive and easy to drive. The ride is smooth and it gets around curves just fine. It's not spectacular, but back to my earlier observation, that isn't the point. It gets you from A to B without any fuss, all calm and collected, and for many drivers, that's exactly what they want. And if you do long for more, the turbocharged version makes 190 horsepower and 195 foot-pounds of torque, so test drive that one too. I'm still not entirely sold on the rear side profile, where the K4's roofline looks a little awkward as it makes its way towards the car's tail, but otherwise it's a looker, especially with that thin grille and surrounding lights. The base LX has 16-inch steel wheels with covers, while my EX adds 17-inch alloy wheels. Both the LX and EX have heated cloth seats, which I always prefer to vinyl or leather, but the EX adds a heated steering wheel, which is my new favorite feature, especially on really cold days like today. Other standard features on the entry LX include a 12.3-inch center touchscreen with phone connectivity, heated mirrors, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, emergency front braking, lane keep assist, and a rear view camera, and that one's mandatory on all new vehicles. For the $2,500 step up to my EX, you also get rear climate vents, illuminated vanity mirrors, a wireless phone charger, selectable drive modes, and blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. It's another $1,500 to move to the EX Plus, and its additions include synthetic leather seats and a panoramic sunroof. But because I'm one of those oddballs who doesn't care for either one, I'm good with this mid-range DX. The digital instrument cluster and infotainment screen stretch across the dash under a single piece of glass. It's fairly basic, and you have to move up to the turbocharged models to get embedded navigation, but the lower trims still offer satellite radio if you don't get your music off your phone. Functions are handled by hard controls, which I vastly prefer to tapping icons on a screen. Still, a couple of them could be a little easier. Stereo volume is a wheel that you rotate up or down or press to turn the stereo on or off. Rather than try to slide your finger up and down on it, and you always end up pushing it, a dial would be easier. Dials would also be preferable for the fan speed and cabin temperature too. The turbo models have an automatic climate control, but it's manual on the lower trims. That's okay, but dials would also be easier here, especially since you can look quickly to see where it's set, whereas here you have to see how many little lights are illuminated. Those quibbles aside, everything else is user-friendly. The gear shift lever is straightforward, the steering wheel controls are simple, and the cup holders have deployable inserts so they can securely hold a smaller cup or provide enough space for a larger one. Front and rear legroom are generous for the segment, while headroom tops most of its rivals. The trunk is also roomy at 413 liters of volume. The rear seats fold down for longer items, but while they do fall flat, they remain above the level of the trunk. The Kia's starting price of $23,995 can't beat that of its Hyundai Elantra cousin, which starts about $1,700 less. But for that price, the Hyundai also has smaller wheels and smaller center screen, and its adaptive stop-and-go cruise control doesn't arrive until its top non-hybrid trim. The Toyota Corolla also starts $325 below the base K4, but that Toyota entry trim also has a smaller screen and wheels, and its seats aren't heated. The Civic, Mazda 3, and Jetta all start above the Kia's price. Ultimately, the Kia K4 looks like good value. It gives you a lot of features for the price. It's definitely not a fire breather, but it's pleasant to drive. It's smooth, it's comfortable, and it's good looking, and the few quibbles I have with it don't change that. It may not be quite a special K, but it's a very good K. Kia's done a heck of a job here, and if you're shopping this segment, you really need to get behind the wheel and see for yourself. For Driving.ca, I'm Joe McIntosh. And for more news and reviews, including compact sedans, be sure to visit us at Driving.ca.